And then fairly soon, some of the people who've been playing around with this technology started to figure out that maybe there's a business to be had here. And the thought was to provide content for free. I mean, how are you going to, you're going to sell radios, okay, but you're not going to, nobody sold subscriptions to content. If you had your radio, your content's coming across the airwaves, it's free. So they eventually came up with the idea of letting people sponsor the programs and run their own messages as part of the program content. And Radio Corporation of America came along. National Broadcasting Company came along. Radio became the first immediate massive media outlet for media and entertainment, widespread by the 30s and 40s. Yeah, so the Westinghouse Tesla piece of it teamed up with AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph, which is Bell Telephone. And United Fruit Company, I think, just had a lot of money from exploiting South American land and labor. And they started RCA, the Radio Corporation of America. National Broadcasting Company, started by a guy named David Sarnoff. There were 14 stations that he centralized, and he formed a network that sent content to the stations. And a fellow named William Paley, who was one of the most noted folks and sort of broadcasting pioneers. He's the son of a cigar manufacturer here in the New York area. And he bought another small company and launched the Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS. And he, as you see here, was the first network to allow advertising. And they, early on, folks that were doing this broadcasting decided they'd better be careful with the content since it was out there available to the public and families and everything else. And the content was really developed to have the broadest appeal as possible. And they developed, as I said before, situation comedies. They had dramas and suspense stories. They had musical entertainment where, it'd be almost like a variety show with singers and skits and dancers. They had talk radio. And so basically, all the genres, types of programming we end up seeing in television in the 50s and 60s, from the soap opera to the game show, were started on radio. Now here is a prize fight that was broadcast on the radio, and I don't think I actually have the fight. You'll be probably glad to hear. This was Jack Dempsey against somebody. This is one of the first things that were broadcast. That was broadcast on the one of these early systems networks. 1921 RCA. And now I've got, we're going to stop, and I've got two different shows to play for you. Comedy first, or what am I going to do? Comedy first? Yeah, I guess we'll do the comedy first, the Fibber McGee and Molly radio show. And then we'll do a suspense show. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about radio used for political speech. And guess what? The beginning of fake news.